Okay, we're up and going. Okay, everyone. In this video, we're going to go through and we're going to add in an animation blend space, which is going to be enabled once the character locks onto the player. So what you want to do is, first off, we need to go to Mixamo. Go to your character that you've got rigged up. And we need to get some animations. Okay, so what we need to do, you need to click on Find Animations. We need, was it left, Strafe. Now you need a walk, left Strafe. This one here and this one here are basically almost the same, so it's up to you which one you want to get. There's also a run left Strafe, so you want to grab that one. You also want to grab a right Strafe. So you can see here's another running one and another walking one. You need both of them. You'll also need walk. Need to walk backwards. So which is this one here. And you'll also need a run backwards, which is this one here. Once you've downloaded all them and then you've put them into your unzip the files, what you want to do then is you want to bring them in. So you want to go animations, import. Alright, go to where you've downloaded them. So you want left Strafe, right Strafe, running backwards, walking backwards, and a walking Strafe left and a walking Strafe right. So these two here are your two running ones. That's also your running backwards, and then these ones are your walking ones. Alright, so you want to import them to your character, import all. Alright, save all. And what you want to do then is you want to create animation blend space. Select your skeleton, and we'll call this lock on underscore blend space, so you know what it is. Alright, you want to open it up. As you can see here, it's not a 1D where it's in one direction. You can go multiple directions. So we need set these up. So you need to have, and the X axis label is direction. We'll need that to go negative 180 to positive 180. Leave that at 4. And then this one here, we need speed. And we need 300 is minimum. And the maximum is going to be our running speed, so that's at 600. Alright, then you want to do is you want to apply parameter changes, which will set the X and Y up. As you can see here now, it's got speed at 600, at 300, direction negative 80, and 180. Alright, we'll save that now so it doesn't, in case it crashes. So what we need is you need your standard walk. Goes in the middle here. Standard run. Goes at the top. See, it hasn't gone in yet. And then you need standard walk, strafe right. And then a standard walk, strafe left. And then we need the running strafe right. And the running strafe left. And then we need the walking backwards. And the walking backwards over here. And then we need the running backwards. There and to there. So now you got running backwards to walking backwards. You got your strafing to the left, walking to running, and then you got your standard run, walk, and the same on the opposite side. So there we are. That is a blend space done. So now we need to go to the animation blueprint. And now we need to set this up for it. What's it doing? Alright. Before we go any further, actually, what we might do is you might go to the character blueprint. And what we need to do is we need to set up the activation. So when the player either targets the enemy, or at the moment, because we haven't got any enemies in, but we need to make sure it's working, we need to set up those buttons. So in this case, we're using the gamepad. So we're going to go and add some inputs. So you want to go to your project settings, input. Now here we will need to add an input. So we're going to add in game pad B. So it's a B button, which is on the Xbox gamepad, and it's the face button on the right. So here you want to go gamepad, face button right. Sweet. That's it. Okay, now we need to go input action gamepad B. So you know exactly what it is. It's the reason why I've done that. So you know where on the gamepad it is. Instead of gamepad face button right, you'll be looking, so you know it's B. Now we need to set up a couple of variables. We need one variable. We'll call it Blendspace lock on. We also need another variable, and we'll just call this one lock on. I thought we'll set this up now. This one here, we might not use it just yet, but we were going to be using this one. So I thought I'd do that now. So what we need is we need to set the lock on. We also need to drag off of here, go flip, flop, and we need 2 of these. So on button pressed, it will just flip-flop between being set, true, and then you get press it again, it will set it to false. So now what we'll do is we'll go back into here. We need to set up a boolean. We'll go boolean lock on. The reason why I've put a B there, got lock on, is because we've set a boolean here called lock on, and they will clash with each other. We can't say it can't have it, because what we're going to do is we're going to cast to the character. So just copy that and paste it. Connect it up. The pin, we need to drag off of here. Get lock on. And then we need to get the boolean. We need to set it. I'll put it in the wrong spot. Maybe you're right. Alright. Compile, save. Now, what we need to do is we need to come in to the anim graph, where you can see we've added the running jump. Now we need to add another one. This time we're going to add another state, and we're going to call it lock on. Now here we need to drag these out, connect these up so it knows what it's looking at. We also need to create another boolean. We'll call this direction. That's going to be a float. Don't worry about those errors. I'll just compile it so I can get the boolean. Now we need to get your lock on Blendspace, drag it in, connect it up. You can see here we've got direction and we've got speed. So grab your speed, drop it on, direction, drop it on. Now we need to go back to here. Click on the one that's going to lock on. So idle run to lock on. We need to get speed. Get it. Set larger than 0. Get the lock on bool. Type in and then connect that up. And you want to go back to default. Click on the one that goes from lock on back to the idle run. This time you want to get speed. is it less than or equal to, and that is 0.1. Alright, so now that's our animations being done. All we have to do is go back to the anim graph, and we need to put in some code. So now, what we need is drag off the pin. We need to get velocity. We also need to get vector rotation. Oh, what's going on here? Right. In this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a reroute node in, and I'll go from here to here. Clean it up a bit. Right. So now, off of here, we need to calculate direction. Our get velocity goes into velocity. Get active rotation goes into base rotation. And then we can then set our direction. Right. So as you can see here, from the character, when we press the button, we're locking on, which will then set the lock on in the animation blueprint, which then, because that's set to lock on, if it's locked on, it will then run the animation Blendspace, this one here, and then when we hit it again, it will then set it to false, which will then go back to an idle run. So let's test that out. As you can see here, standing idly, we're able to walk forward normal, run around like normal. Now I'm going to enable the lock on by pressing the B button. As you can see, it's still standard as an idle animation, and it's not working. Why isn't that working? Let's have a look, see why isn't it working. So let's test this out. We'll have a look. Oh, that'd be bloody right. Okay. Put this down here so we can see what's going on. And we'll play. Character should be debugging. And why isn't it working? I'll do is I'll make it public and see if that does anything. Gamepad B button should be working. Just double check I've set that right. Should be gamepad, face button, B button, button right, should be the one. Alright. Well, we'll do this. print string. Activated. Let's do that. Deactivated. Alright, so I know now if I press the button, it's either going to be activated or deactivated. Okay, let's test this out. Alright, it's activated, deactivated. So we know that's working. So it's not that. I know what it could be. But we'll test something out first. So we got speed, 0, lock on. What I'll do is I'm going to disconnect it here. Disconnect it here. I'll do it the way I got it on my test one I've already done. It's not that it's not wrong, not right, but it might just be this here's got to be in a certain place or something, who knows. But we'll find out. Alright. So I press the button and it's still not doing it. See if that's it. There we go, that's it. Alright, that's what I forgot to do. I've got it in my blueprint, but I wasn't quite sure if I had to put it in right then. So what I need to do is we need to drag off of here. Character movement. Drag off. And we need to set orientation and rotation. Alright. So now we've got that set up. So what will happen now is, as you can see here, I turned it off. So what's going to happen is when we turn it off, it's now going to lock the character to whatever way the camera is facing. And then once we hit it again, it will then unlock it. So then the character, as you saw, when you push backwards, the character will turn and face you. So let's give that a go this time. So we'll run forward. As you can see, you can move around as you're moving the joystick. We'll enable it. And now, as you can see, he's there running around. And he's also running backwards. So there we are. We've got the lock on. But now, if you watch this, I'll do a jump. See how he's jumping, but the animation's not changing, even when he's running forward and running back. Make it a bit larger so you can see. As you can see, it doesn't quite look right. Now, I don't have these animations for when he's strafing to the side and jumping. If you are able to animate in 3ds Max or Blender, then you can then do them in those programs. But because I don't have them, I'm going to do a cheat. So what we're going to do is we need to connect the jumps and the end jumps to the lock on. So we need to go from here to the jump running while you're jumping, jump while you're running, sorry. We also need, if you've locked on and you're standing there at idle, you also need to do a jump start if you want to jump in one position. Exactly the same thing, you need to be able to end it. So if you're locked onto the character and you fall to say a ledge or something like that, you want to be able to still run your jump animation like normal. So exactly the same as here, we've got in air. All you do is you just copy exactly what's there. So we'll go here, is in air, get to default. Here, as you can see here, we'll just copy. And where it comes from here to here. There's that one there. Paste that in. I'll move this down a bit, make it easier to see. Exactly the same thing here. We got speed, jump. So we just need to copy. This is copy and paste basically to make it easier. Now this one here won't work as far as I remember. Oh no, it will. Copy. I was thinking of the other one because I think I tried to put a time remaining on this one here and it didn't work. That's right. That's why I had to set it up like this. Right. So now you'll see that the animation is done, but you're going to see another problem. So now you can do running forward. I'll press lock on. As you can see, the animation started a little bit, so you can see it locked on. I can jump like normal. I can do a standing jump, but then now you watch I strafe to the right, do a jump, and look at he turns. The other thing too is what you want to do, which I haven't done yet, as you would see. Actually, we'll play this, I'll show you. Okay, we've got the standard. So he goes from that back to an idle because that's a normal blend space. When I enable the strafing, you see how it snaps. To stop that and make it a bit more smooth, we need to go to the animation, go to the blend space, and we need to set target weight interpolation. That needs to be set to 4. Save. Now you watch. You can see everything's still normal. I'll enable it, strafing, and now it goes back to slowly goes back to the idle animation. It's like the same thing when you're running backwards. It goes back to the idle animation. Just a lot smoother. That's all it is. Just allows go from one animation to the other smoother. Oh, now the other thing too is we haven't done yet, and that is we're going to change it so we'll make it so it's going to be a hack way to get the animation to jump in the direction that you're strafing. As I said, if you had an animator, or if you're able to animate yourself by yourself, you can add the strafe jump animation in, just as you would with the normal running jump. You do a strafe jump, and you probably set one up for the right and one up then for the left. So, but what we're going to do is, as I said, we're going to cheat. So off of here, we're going to get Blendspace lock on. We're going to set that. Sorry, we're not going to put it there. We're going to put it here, because we need to be able to toggle it on and off. So we'll copy, paste it. So it sets it on, sets locked on, sets it off, sets lock on off. All right. Now down here, as I said, it's going down to the jump sequence. We're going to change this. We're going to drag in blend space. We're going to get that. We're also then going to get a branch. Say press B, left click. And then we're going to do exactly the same thing down here. So on button released, it's going to come down to here. And now we're going to set two custom events. So custom event. Get easier. Alright, we'll just call this lock on running jump. I'll zoom in so you can see what I've set it to. And then we're going to do another custom event. And we'll call this lock on running jump end. Alright, so now we've got a running jump and a running jump end. And what we need to do now is we need to copy these two, get the character movement, and just copy the two sets of the orientation. Now here we need to set lock running jump, and on end we need to set to false. So when we jump, the orientation is set to true. At the end of jump, we set it back to false. So what this will do is when we jump and we will fire this event, it will then set it to true. So then the animation will go back to the idle animation, but it will run this jump. So it will go from here to here, and it will then do a seamless jump. And then what we'll do, once the jump is complete and you release the button, it will then set it back to false. So what that will do is, what we'll do is we'll just test it out first. So there we need to type in, what is it, lock on, running jump, on true, set it to there. Now because if we come off of here and we set it to jump, we had this to jump, we need to go false, set it to jump. So what will happen is when you run jump, it will then jump. And then also off of here, we also need to come down to jump. Now on here, what we might do is we'll put in a delay. Set it to 0.25 and we'll go lock on running jump end. All right, there we are. Now this is, as I said, what's going to happen now is once it will fire, it will set the orientation, movement orientation, this one here, to true, which will then put the animation from the lock on animation back to the standard Blendspace 1D animation and allow to run the jump while you're running, and then once you're released, it will then set it back to false, which will then turn the lock on animation back on again. But there's a little bug with it doing it this way, is if you're pushing a certain direction, I'll show you. So this is just a hack way of doing it. So we'll enable it, as you can see with Strafe, and we'll jump. See? And now it looks like he's, and you can see here now it's jumped and reset it back to that direction that you're locked on at. So it's up to you on what you want to do. As you can see here now, I'm running around, and as I said, it's still locked on. But all you're doing is you're enabling and disabling the camera view to allow this animation Blendspace to run. So what you can do is you can disable the lock on and then enable it again. And as I said, you can then jump. As I said, it's up to you on how you want to do it. I was just thinking about an hour ago of doing it. So when a character's got to jump anyway, his lock on is going to be broken due to the fact he's either jumping away from being attacked or he's looking away to jump. So you see where he's jumping, the character's jumping. So basically it's going to break the target anyway. So what you want to do is, it's up to you on if you want to set it like that. So if you want to do it like that, then all you do then is reset these. We'll give this a go. So we'll set that to false. So just that's all you need, is to set it to false. Yeah, we'll give that a go. As I said, if you're going to do it like that, then you wouldn't need to set at the end jump, reset the lock. the camera, because what you want to do is just disable it. So we'll jump, but you can see here it's still, because I've reset the I haven't changed that. So what you want to do is just either delete the lock on, so basically it will then just set it back to being locked. So we'll give that a go. So you can see he's locked, he's jumped, and then as I said, then you'll have to the character then will have to lock back on again. And then if he jumps again, and that his lock's been broken. But as you can see, if you test this out, you'll probably find exactly the same drama I'm having now, is I've got to press it twice to get it to lock, due to the fact that it's doing the flip-flop here. So you press it once, even though you've probably set it to true, and that you've already pressed it once, and you've set it to true, and now you've pressed it again, and you've set it to, so set it to false, and then you've jumped, and it's set it back to true. And then you've pressed it again, instead of pressing it here, will then set it back. So it's up to you on how you want to do it. If you want, you could probably just put the lock in jump, so it cycles around. So what we'll do is this. We'll break this one. Bring it up. If it's true, fire this off. All right. We'll give that a go. I'm not a developer, but I'm going off the cuff here in this section because I wanted to fix this up on my one before. You can see we'll jump now, and it's still not working. So here, we'll break this one here, and I'll just go straight to here. Yeah. So if it goes off the flip-flop. So I'll enable it, jump, runs around, and it's still not working. Well, that looked cool. Running backwards, jump, he flips around. That's pretty cool. Right. So we've got to try and work out how to do this. So what we need to do is we need to set this orientation back to false when we hit the button again. So what we're doing, we're hitting the button, we're setting it. We're able to run around, we'll jump. It fires this off here. Sets it back to true. And sets lock on to false. Because it's already run through the sequence here. Then when we do the button again, it sets the blend space to false. Well, that's why. So we need to go here. So now we'll set that to false. The lock-on's set to false. So we could then set the lock-on to true. Let's give that a go. Now we'll apply this bug where, okay, we've got this set on, and then when it goes off, and we press the button again, so we'll go jump. It's gone back to normal. We'll set it again. You can see it's back to lock on again. But now when we hit it again, it's still locked on. So we'll probably do something about that, because what we're doing is going to gun around in circles all the time. We're either setting it if false, do that. Let's see. If we fire it off once, it sets everything. We jump, it disengages it. Then we press it again, it will go through here, and we set it back up again. And then we press it again, it's already set, but we're resetting it again. Well, I got the feeling we should do a do once. We'll try that. A do once. Do once. And then we'll probably do exactly the same thing here. Okay, we'll do a do once here. And then once it's been set, we'll just set that for now. But what I think I'll have to do is once it then fires here, once it's set, we'll see how we go. It's all trial and error this is at the moment. Run around, enable, jump, enable again. But now we can't disable it. So we can enable, but we can't disable. So what we might want to do is, when we re-enable it here, we might want to reset it. See what that does. Alright, enable it. jump, re-enable it, and it's still enabled, it won't disable. If the blend space is true, locked on is true, well, we got it right here. It will enable it, disable it, and re-enable it, but we can't disable it. It's the same drawing we had before. It's the only thing I can think of if it's false. I've set something here, so what it will do is it will then fire its back off of here. You can keep following along what I'm doing here if you really want to, but that's basically all I was going to be showing you in this video. But I'm going to continue and try and sort this this drama out. So if you want to keep following along, as I said, I'm not a game developer, so what you're seeing right now is how I've been working stuff out prior to making these videos. All it is just try and work something out, test it. That doesn't work, we'll have to go through and see what else we'll be able to use to get it to work. So lock on. So once we jump, we set the orientation and we turn lock on off. Maybe we might have to set the blend space to off too. We'll try that. We'll set that to false. Because we're setting both of these, so we'll set that. So hopefully that will. Standard one. Enable it. Jump. Enable. Disable's not working. I suppose it won't disable until you actually kill the character, or unless you jump. But even then, it's not resetting it. Hang on, just double check that. Jump. Enable. Jump. It's still enabled. Because what we're doing is we're still setting it here. We're jumping and we're breaking it. We're re-enabling it. But when we jump again, it's not disabling it. Probably because of this. Right, that's all that was. Yeah, but see now it's not. As you can see there, even though it's been enabled and I jump, it breaks it. Oh, I didn't break it this time. You can see I had to jump a few times for it to break. So you can jump, so you're still not disengaging it. So you need to disable. You had to disable it. I'll put a print string in so you can see what I'm doing. Print string. Activated. Copy it. Paste. Do once. Copy. Paste. Deactivate. Alright, so here it's activated. Print that. Here it's deactivated. So what I'll do is go here. Yeah, I'll just go here. See how that does. I might need to put it back here. Alright. It's activated. Jump. Deactivated. And see, it's deactivating, but it's enabling it again. But now for jump, it's still activated. You can see now I've pressed it again, it's still activated. Deactivated it, and it's still working. So that's the error. So what's happening is you activate it. See, it's deactivated because it's flip-flopping. That's the problem we're having. So, because we're activating a lock and deactivating the lock. So what will happen is, if we get close to it, it depends on how you want to pick up the targeting on the enemy. So if you want to have it say off the HMD where the player's looking, if he's looking at an enemy and you hit target, then the target's activated. But then if you decide, oh, I don't want to go after that enemy, the player doesn't want to go after that enemy and decides he wants to go after another enemy, and then he looks at that other enemy and he presses the lock again, what's going to happen? It's going to flip-flop. It's going to then deactivate the lock on instead of setting the changing the lock from one enemy to another. So what I might do is this stage, or just set it through here. So instead of doing a flip-flop, I'll go blend space. Is it on? Is it locked? If it is activated, if blend space is locked on, so if blend space is on, it's true. So no, I won't do that there. If pressed, go off of here. We'll go type in not if blend space lock on is not true, set it to true. If it's false, if it is true, then set it to false. So if it's false and it's not, basically it's not a flip flop. So if it's false, you could go leave like that, connect it up to here. So if it's true, well then that's not. So that will then say it's false. If it's false and it's not, it means it's true. So it's basically saying if it's true, then send it to false. If it's false, send it to true. Basically, also what I'll set this back up again so you can see it firing. Right. So it's activated. It's deactivated. Deactivated, activated. Deactivated, activated. Right, as you can see here, you're able to then do that. But at this stage, as you can see, like once you then jump, it then sets it all back to normal. You can see here it's deactivated because I pressed the button again. But even though I set the button again, it was, because I jumped, it reset that anyway. So what we could do then is we could add in another branch. Or we could just set it to that. Okay, so it's activated. Jump. You can see it's been deactivated. You can see it's activated again. Jump. It's been deactivated. Right, and that's how we do it. Sweet. I reckon that's cool. So, you can run backwards and jump and he spins around. I reckon that's awesome. Alright, so there we are. Look at that. So we didn't need this end jump, and we didn't need to reset the orientation around it. So that makes it even easier. And I'll remove these. Right. Well, there we are. This video wasn't the cleanest tutorial, but we worked out how to set up a jump while running an animation blend space without having the animations for a strafe jump. So, well, as I said, so now when you do a jump, you'll break the lock on whatever character that you're enemy that you're fighting against. So if you need to jump out of the way, so if your player needs to jump out of the way of an attack, that means it breaks his lock. So then he'll have to lock onto his character, the enemy again. So it's not permanently locked onto the enemy. So at this stage, that will do for this video. We'll just comment this out. And we'll call it lock on. We've just got lock on for now. And that will do. Well, I'm going to change this color to red because we haven't quite set the enemy lock on properly yet. We've still got to do put in enemies and then set up how you're going to have the player lock on to onto the enemy. If you're going to have it so the enemy's going to have a collision capsule around it, so when you go in the within the sphere zone of the enemy, you then select lock on. It will then lock onto the closest or the first one that you're within that sphere, or you want to have it, like I said before, do a line trace off the HMD on hit when the player clicks lock on. It then locks onto the enemy, and then runs the animation. As I said, the reason why I'm doing it this way, because I saw actually on President Nielsen's video where he's got Alice in Wonderland. I think it's Alice in Wonderland, something like that. It's the Japanese style hack and slash. That's the way he's sort of set up his lock on blend space, where you can run around like normal, like as you see what we've just done now, and then once he locks onto the enemy, he then doesn't the character won't turn his back on the enemy. But he's got his animations all set up so it's permanently locked on, so he can do jumps, rolls, and all that away from the attack being attacked for defense, but it will still be permanently locked on. So, but because I don't have the animations, we've done it this way, and exactly like anything, if you need to get out of the way of something, you lose your concentration because you're more concentrating on where you're jumping to or where you're jumping away from, where you're going to land. So then that will then break your lock. So that's the reason why I've done it like this. So I hope you understood what we did in this video. If you have any questions, just post them in the comments, and hopefully I'll put a reply in if you have any dramas. So thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.